welcome to the Movies Past and Present podcast. It's August 26th, 2022, and this is episode 89. I'm your host, Stanford Clark, and I'm podcasting from the crossroads of the West in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah. Just like my blog, moviespastandpresent.com, I'll be providing recommendations, commentary, and reviews about current and classic cinema. Thanks for tuning in, and let's do this thing. All right, in theaters, actually, there's quite a lot going on over these next couple of weeks. Now playing in theaters, particularly if you are a fan of British actor Idris Elba, are a couple of films starring him. First up is, looks like kind of an artsy film. It's called 3,000 Years of Longing. It's from MGM. It's directed by George Miller. A lonely scholar, played by Tilda Swinton, on a trip to Istanbul, discovers a genie, who is played by Idris Elba, who offers her 3 wishes in exchange for his freedom. One description I read of this film is that it's Aladdin, but for adults. So I've seen the trailer, but I don't know that much about it. I know that it's based upon a short story called The Djinn and the Nightingale's Eye by A.S. Byatt. And I also know that it is rated R by the Motion Picture Association for some sexual content, graphic nudity, and brief violence. Again, Aladdin for adults is what it looks like. Also starring Idris Elba and now playing in theaters is a movie called Beast. It's from Universal Pictures, and it's from, quote, the visceral experiential filmmaker Balthazar Kormatur, and I'm sorry, I'm probably not pronouncing his name correctly. Sometimes the rustle in the bushes actually is a monster. Idris Elba stars in a pulse-pounding new thriller about a father and his 2 teenage daughters who find themselves hunted by a massive rogue lion intent on proving that the savannah has but one apex predator. I've only seen the trailer for this film, and it's a CGI created lion. Frankly, it looked like Idris Elba was fighting Simba from that horrible quote unquote live action, or that photorealistic CGI version of The Lion King that Disney did not too long ago. Frankly, I think this movie looks horrible, but, again, if you're an Idris Elba fan or you're up for a monster movie, Beast is rated R by the Motion Picture Association for violent content, bloody images, and some language. Okay, so those are currently in theaters. Opening today, August 26th, is a horror film called The Invitation. This is from Screen Gems. It's directed by Jessica M. Thompson, and it's so nice. The movie producers say you're invited to a nightmare, generations in the making. After the death of her mother and having no other known relatives, Evie, who's played by Nathalie Emmanuel, takes a DNA test and discovers a long-lost cousin she never knew she had. Invited by her newfound family to a lavish wedding in the English countryside, she's at first seduced by the sexy aristocrat host, but is soon thrust into a nightmare of survival as she uncovers twisted secrets in her family's history and the unsettling intentions behind their sinful generosity. The Invitation is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for terror, violent content, some strong language, sexual content, and partial nudity. And I got to tell you, this is an invitation that I am going to decline. Also opening today on August 26th is a re-release of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which originally came out in 2016. This is going to be in IMAX theaters for 1 week only. This is from Lucasfilm. It's directed by Gareth Edwards. Rogue One was the very first of the Star Wars quote-unquote standalone films, of which really there were only 2 in this, kind of modern day or Disney owned Star Wars era. And it's an exciting film. It's about it's an unlikely band of heroes that come together on a mission to steal the plans for the Death Star when that first Death Star is getting built, and they're the ones who give the plans to Princess Leia, who then which triggers the events of the original Star Wars film from 1977. So it's pretty cool. It's a prequel, but in the best sense of the word. It's got a terrific cast, and it's I think it's an exciting film. I'm excited to see this in IMAX. Also, as a bonus for this IMAX presentation, there's going to be a sneak peek of a new Disney Plus Star Wars series, which is called ANDOR. And it's about Cassian Andor, who's one of the rebels in this, in Rogue One. And this new series begins streaming on Disney Plus on September 21st. So this series is a prequel to Rogue One. So many prequels. But anyway, I'm excited to get more of a sneak peek of Andor, and excited to see Rogue One again in IMAX. I think that's gonna be pretty exciting. I'll have links to some of this stuff in the podcast notes on my blog, so you can even see one of the Andor trailers as well. That's coming to Disney Plus. It's a 12. I think the ultimate goal is to have 2 seasons of 12 episodes each. So that's gonna be pretty exciting. There's gonna be a lot of looks like a great Star Wars content. Also, just of note, I think when Disney first bought Star Wars or bought Lucasfilm, the plan was to have more of these standalone Star Wars movies. They refer to them as a Star Wars story. So the full title for Rogue One is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. They only made 2. They made Solo, a Star Wars story, which was kind of an origin story about Han Solo, and it was a flop. I think Rogue One did very well. Solo was a flop, and then they really started focusing on, they meaning Lucasfilm, creating content for the Disney Plus service, and that's really kind of taken over these Star Wars stories because, again, because this Andor series is a perfect example of that. So anyway, go out and check out Rogue One in IMAX for 1 week only. Check your local listings. Starting next week. So again, lots of stuff going on in theaters. Couple of new releases, to mention. Again, these are opening up on Friday, September 2nd. First one is a drama called GIGI NATE. It's from Roadside Attractions. It's directed by Nick Ham. It's about a young man's life that's turned upside down after he suffers a near fatal illness and is left a quadriplegic. Moving forward seems impossible until he meets an unlikely service animal. That's Gigi, a curious and intelligent monkey who helps Nate find what he needs most, which is hope. So, this looks like it could be a cute film, kind of a tender film. Or it could, be not so great, but hopefully it's good. So GIGI NATE is rated PG-13 by the Motion Picture Association for some thematic material and language. Also opening on September 2nd is the comedy, drama, or satire, I guess, maybe all of the above, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. This is from Focus Features. It's directed by Adama Ebo. It's a satirical comedy starring Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown as a couple of a Southern Baptist megachurch. And they used to have a humongous congregation But after a scandal forces the church to close temporarily, the two must figure out how to reopen their church and rebuild their congregation. And they go for a big comeback. In fact, the biggest comeback that commodified religion has ever seen. So, again, I've seen the trailer for this. It looks like it could be a lot of fun. Very appealing cast. And so we'll see if Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul is any good. It's rated R by the Motion Picture Association for language and some sexual content. Okay, now returning to theaters next week, so starting Friday, September 2nd, are three movies that, I think are all definitely worth your time and consideration over the long Labor Day weekend if you're wanting to go see some movies. First up is a re-release of Jaws. This is the 1975 film from Universal Pictures and directed by Steven Spielberg. This is the movie that really kind of created the summer blockbuster. Back in 1975 when this opened, it was such a huge hit, and it just, again, created the idea that, kind of these action thriller movies get piled in for the summer season, and that's where they can, again, the studios can just make piles of money. It's what's fun about this one is that it's coming to IMAX theaters, so they've got a remastered version of Jaws. I don't know if this is the first time in IMAX, but still, it's an IMAX. And then also they've got a print of it that's in real 3D. So check your local listings because it's going to be both in IMAX and possibly in real 3D. I'm all over this thing. I want to see it in IMAX. I don't believe that it's going to be in 3D in IMAX. I could be wrong, but I'm just planning to see it in 2D in all of its horror in IMAX. As you may recall, Jaws is a story about a killer shark that unleashes chaos on the beach community off of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And it's up to a local sheriff who's played by Roy Schneider, a marine biologist played by Richard Dreyfuss, and an old seafarer played by Robert Shaw to take this beast down. This movie is so scary and so thrilling, so expertly directed by Steven Spielberg, and I think it's just going to be a real treat. A couple weeks ago, Universal also released Spielberg's classic film E.T. the Extraterrestrial. That film came out in 1982, so this screening was celebrating the 40th anniversary of E.T. And I went and saw it and of course in IMAX, my favorite, and it was just fantastic. I love the movie anyway. I hadn't seen it for many years, and if you get a chance just to see E.T., I know that it's no longer playing in IMAX, but E.T. is just such a terrific film. One of the unexpected thrills about seeing it in IMAX was the remastered soundtrack with the great music by John Williams blasting over the IMAX speakers. It was a treat. Really emotional. I absolutely loved it. So I think I'm hoping the same for Jaws. Again, Jaws 1 week only, starting Friday, September 2nd. Also back in theaters is the latest Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. This came out, and I think everybody in the world just kind of said, "COVID be damned, we're going to the movies," and it was just a humongous hit. It's such a fun movie. They're calling this new release of Spider-Man No Way Home that comes out on September 2nd. They're calling it the More Fun Stuff version, which I think's a kick. Basically what it means is they've edited in 11 minutes of new content, or I guess of content that probably, had been cut from that original release. This is in celebration of 60 years of the Spider-Man comic book character and 20 years of Spider-Man films. So I think that this movie brings together all three modern, and again, this may be a bit of a spoiler alert. It was kind of a suspected surprise when the film got rolled out last year. But all three modern day Spider-Man actors share the screen together: Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. Also along for the ride is Benedict Cumberbatch, who reprises his role as Doctor Strange. Marissa Tomei is back as Aunt May, Zendaya as MJ, Jacob Batalon as Ned, and then a whole slew of classic Spider-Man villains also come in for this multiverse fest. So this looks so fun. Check your local listings for Spider-Man No Way Home, the more fun stuff version, again, opening on September 2nd. Finally, in big screen offerings is this one is under the TCM Big Screen Classics series. It's the 40th anniversary of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which of course came out in 1982. This is actually going to be playing over 3 days, so September 4th, 5th, and 8th. And you can go to the fathomevents.com website. I'll have a link to it in the podcast notes in my blog. But this is one of, if not the best, Star Trek films. This is actually a story continuation of an episode from the original Star Trek series from the 1960s with William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and everybody. With the assistance of the Enterprise crew, Admiral Kirk, he's now Admiral Kirk now, must stop an old nemesis, who's Khan, played by none other than Ricardo Montalban, from using the life-generating Genesis device as the ultimate weapon. Again, just this film is I guess what I just say, it's compact, it's exciting, it's interesting. You don't necessarily have to be a Star Trek fan to appreciate it, although I think it helps. but it's, again, just one of the best Star Trek films, and just an absolutely outstanding film to boot. So highly recommend seeing Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Give this 40th anniversary screening again September 4th, 5th, and 8th. Check the fathomevents.com website, and again, I'll have links to everything. And holy smokes, go to the movies over Labor Day weekend, because there's just a lot of great choices. All right, in streaming, just want to make you aware of what's being called Disney Plus Day. That's happening on September 8th. Now, Disney Plus, the streaming service, launched in 2019, and they typically have had this quote-unquote Disney Plus Day in November, which has been their anniversary of when they launched. This year, the Walt Disney Company is having this Disney Plus Day on September 8th. And I believe that the reason that they're doing it is because they're tying it into their big, it's Disney's version of Comic-Con. They call it the D23 Expo. D23 is the official Disney fan club. And then they have a huge event, which is just going to be nonstop press releases and stuff that are coming out of this thing. It's happening September 9th through 11th. It's happening in Anaheim at the Anaheim Convention Center, which is right across the street from Disney, the Disneyland Resort. But basically, Disney Plus Day is a day where they release a whole bunch of new content on the service. And then also they celebrate Disney Plus in the Disney theme parks, and just a big promotional day. There are some premieres of note, though, for us movie fans on Disney Plus that I wanted to mention. First up is that Thor: Love and Thunder, the newest installment in from Marvel Studios with Thor, which was a movie which I just loved this year. That's going to be released on Disney Plus on September 8th on Disney Plus Day. So if you haven't already seen it, or if you want to see it again, it's a chance. There's your chance if you're a Disney Plus subscriber. Also, Disney's been releasing their what they call the sing-along versions of some of their animated classics, and both Frozen and Frozen 2 sing-alongs are going to be put on Disney Plus on September 8th. When I say sing-along version, basically what it is during the songs, it displays the lyrics, so it's just like kind of movie karaoke going on. So that's fun, and also could be fun, fun for the family. And then also Disney is releasing their latest remake of one of their animated films. This is a remake of the classic Pinocchio. This is this is a hybrid film with live action and CGI. Geppetto is played in this film by Tom Hanks, and Pinocchio is a CGI character. They've actually made they made the creative decision to make him look very much like the Pinocchio from the 1940 animated film. And anyway, it looks like that from the trailer they follow this. I will put a link to the trailer in the podcast notes on my blog, so you can check that out if you're so inclined. I basically hate these remakes because I just feel like if I wanted to watch Pinocchio, I'd watch the 1940 version. However, they make a ton of money. I think it's also a way to introduce these stories to families of today. So, they are what they are. Let's hope this one's good. As I might have already mentioned, it's directed by Robert Zemeckis. Robert Zemeckis is a fantastic director. He spent a lot of time with this motion capture technology, which I don't really love. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes with this new film. Motion capture is that technology where they put dots all over the actor's face and body, and then a computer then creates an animated version of it. Robert Zemeckis did a film adaptation of The Polar Express, that beloved children's Christmas novel, using motion capture, and I just felt that it just made the characters just look creepy in the way that they animated their eyes, which isn't necessarily due to the motion capture. I think it's just maybe an artistic choice, but I just really disliked his motion capture work. But we'll see if how this one goes, and then maybe there's just enough live actors in it too, and a lot of action going on with this story that it could be good. But regardless, this new version of Pinocchio is also getting released on Disney Plus Day. One other thing of note, which looks very fun to me, Pixar Cars. So, the Cars films and shorts that they've created with the characters Lightning McQueen and Mater, and then of course the Radiator Springs town, etc. They have got a new series. It's called Cars on the Road. And the premise behind this is that Lightning McQueen and Mater travel across the country to attend the wedding of Mater's sister. So Mater's sister is a character that we haven't met yet in the Cars world. And, Cars for me is just a really guilty pleasure because, I love Pixar and I love automobiles. And so, I think the original Cars is terrific. Cars 2 is not, but I love the aesthetic. I love the look of it. And Cars 3 is better, and I think that the shorts typically have been solid. They did a big series of, they call them Mater's Tall Tales. I'm not sure if all these are on Disney Plus, but I think many of them probably are. So I'm stoked for some new Cars shorts. Those are premiering also on Disney Plus Day. I'll have a link to a post that Disney put out with all of these releases happening on Disney Plus Day. I also wouldn't be surprised if they add some more stuff to it. They surprise us all with more content. So anyway, Disney Plus Day is happening September 8th. So get ready for some hopefully great new Disney content. In Classic Cinema Corner, I just wanted to share some stuff about my 20th Century Fox movie watching project and highlight one particular film that I really enjoyed this month. As I've mentioned before, I'm in the process of watching 100 movies this year that were made by the 20th Century Fox movie studio. And really part of the reason that I was doing this is, 20th Century Fox is now just known as 20th Century Studios. It's owned by the Walt Disney Company. And so the studio was, its own thing from 1935 when it was created to 2019 when finally the acquisition by Disney was finalized. So I picked 100 what I feel are representative films of the studio, both, based on, different actors and genres and, of course, the time periods, etc. And right now I'm in the 1970s, and there's been a lot of great films. Everything from Young Frankenstein to the original Star Wars, and to this film, which I wanted to highlight, called Breaking Away. This film was released in 1979, and if you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's a coming-of-age film about four kids from working-class families that live in Indiana. They actually live in the shadows of Indiana University, but these teens are trying to find their way. They've just all graduated from high school, and they're trying to find their next steps. The main character, who is played expertly by the actor Dennis Christopher, he is obsessed with cycling. He's got a bike, and he's particularly obsessed with the Italian cycling team. And so he's just decided to take on this almost like a persona, and everything that he does is all about Italians. His other friends are have got different stuff going on. One's got a girlfriend who's moving, and the other guys are just, don't necessarily have supportive families and are trying to figure out what to do. So many people are going to college, but college is expensive, and and also challenging, so just trying to, anyway, it's a great coming of age film. It's got a really fantastic script. In fact, the script was written by a writer named Steve Teich, and he won the Academy Award that year for Best Original Screenplay, and it's deserving. He's terrific. The movie stars Dennis Quaid, and Daniel Stern and Jackie Earle Haley. Those are the four friends, kind of the core of it. Barbara Barry and Paul Dooley play the dad of the biker who wants to be Italian, and the rest of the cast is terrific too. So, would highly recommend watching this wonderful coming of age film, Breaking Away. If you haven't seen it, I rented it on Apple iTunes. But it's I guess in a lot of ways it's kind of a combo, as I mentioned, coming of age, but it's also kind of a sports movie because there's a lot of biking. There's a lot of biking in it, and a lot of kind of exciting stuff around bike races, and again, just a terrific cast, and ultimately a real feel good film. So yeah, highly recommend Breaking Away from 20th Century Fox, from 1979. Well, that does it for this episode of the Movies Past and Present podcast. Again, links and more information about the movies discussed in today's podcast can be found in the podcast notes on my blog at moviespastandpresent.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. Links are also on the blog. And follow me on Instagram. My handle is @moviespap, as in past and present. As always, I hope you'll enjoy some good movies this week, whether they be from the past or the present. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, be safe out there and dedicate yourself to the truth.